Video review of the Zombie Strike Ripshot. Included is the blaster itself and 3 vortex discs. As usual, I'll go over the externals, show you firing, and then give you my opinion. Starting with the front, here are a few disc holders. You can pressure in the discs. They hold them very nicely. If it were too much stronger, it might dent the foam, but it's just strong enough to hold them in place and remain easy to access. The front holder holds 3 discs, by the way. Up front is the barrel. It is a bit bizarre to load, but you get used to it very quickly. You just place in the disc and push it back. After it's back, it can't come out, so you can leave it unprimed and loaded, which is nice. The trigger is pretty standard and comfortable to operate. The green part is the priming handle, and this little orange thing is the release, so if you get a jammed disc and it won't operate, you push it forward, and then it takes out and it empties the barrel. To prime the blaster, you pull back on the green slide. As you can see, it's locked up because it's not loaded, and that's a safety feature so, to prevent you from locking up the gun. So after it's loaded, you pull it back, and the slide doesn't return forward. This is my least favorite feature about this blaster. It's kind of annoying because it stays back until you fire it, and now it's free to advance, but it doesn't. Not automatically. You have to manually push back. No in strike rails on the top or anywhere. There are iron sights, but of course you're not going to use those because disc blasters and all Nerf guns are terribly inaccurate anyways. Getting to the grip, it is very large and kind of fat, and I really like that. It's very comfortable. I have a big hand, no complaints. It's easy to operate. So I'll show you the blaster firing. 47. 45. Whoops. 49. 45 feet per second. Keep in mind, you cannot compare velocity readings of disc blasters to dart blasters. Darts shoot much faster, but these carry, so their ranges are comparable. What's also pretty cool is you can load in a disc and then load in an extra if you want, prime the blaster back, and fire 2 at once. The velocity and range is much slower and it's kind of inaccurate, but it's pretty cool to be able to fire 2 at once if you need a shotgun for some reason. So getting to my opinion. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of any disc blasters. There's not much to complain really about the operation. It fires okay for a disc blaster, I suppose. The one thing that really bothers me is this priming back. Having this stupid slide remain back is just annoying and it's kind of weird. And then for it to not to auto return after you pull the trigger adds one extra step to fire. So every time you load the disc, which isn't quick by any means, prime back the blaster, fire, and then you have to push the slide forward before you load in another disc, so it's an extra step. The rate of fire is terrible. If you're after the cosmetics, I understand it does look pretty neat and fancy, but honestly it's not very war practical. So bottom line, if you're trying to compete with other people, that sounds so hardcore, but you know what I mean, actually try to defeat others in a Nerf war. This is not efficient, it's not practical, and overall it's not a good choice for that at all. If you're simply trying to shoot at targets and have a good time, it operates smoothly, it's fun to use, and it's kind of unique. So maybe buy it for that, but honestly, a lot of other disc blasters are better options, specifically the Proton and the Vigilon. Keep in mind, I don't like those blasters either, so it takes a lot for me to recommend those over this, but I don't really like any disc blaster at all. So that's the review of the Ripshot. Thanks for watching. This is specifically designed for the iPhone 5 and 4. If you have a non-Apple smartphone or an iPhone like 3, I don't remember the dimensions of those, it might not fit. It's extremely tight for the iPhone.